Comment dubs are everywhere around the YouTube platform. If you don't know what it means, they are a method of voicing over an official or unofficial comic. They are popular on YouTube because of the solid voice acting, the use of background music, and editing, which can be entertaining towards viewers. People can use fan comments to dub over a comic. One example can be seen with a comic dubber YouTuber named Shavs Media Productions, as they are best known for their dubbing of a fan comic called Casino Cups, which is basically an AU of the popular indie game Cuphead, and it has over 3.4 million views.
Oh, good Lord in heaven, please forgive me for my sins. I don't want to go to hell, please.
They can also dub over an official comic from a well-known franchise. Adrenaline Dubs is known for dubbing over both official and unofficial Sonic the Hedgehog comics, and has 94.9k subscribers.
Look, I get it. Eggman has been a grade A jerk for years.
However, they were not always like this nowadays. The comic dubs we used to know and love are now part of the infamous content farms that people strongly hate nowadays. The definition behind it is that a content farm is a YouTube channel that produces videos at an extreme pace for gain of money, to manipulate, or for infamy. They can also cover or make any content, the most popular being animations, but all of it is cheap and fast. Many of them also steal content from other YouTubers or websites. Other YouTubers who made the creations often came out about their content being reposted without permission, but due to the sheer amount of content on YouTube, they have been largely ignored. The biggest example can be seen with child-targeted farms. Channels such as Eltergate use popular cartoon characters from media, such as Elsa from Frozen and Huggy Wuggy from Poppy Playtime. It may look innocent at first until you realize that in these videos often have thumbnails that involve kid-friendly characters putting the most dangerous and nonsensical acts, which may act as clickbait, and it has an effect on younger children, as parents have discussed about their unusual behaviour. Back on topic, some YouTube channels such as Choco Comics and Wimble are now doing the same thing just like Elsagate, making money off of children by using clickbait and SFW thumbnails and comments of fictional characters, and using terrible voice acting such as text-to-speech voices to voice over a comic without hiring actual VAs.
The bathroom's all yours now. Azarath, Metrion, Zinthos.
Wait up! I need just 1 minute!
Tomorrow's Taco Tuesday. Get ready to feast and enjoy.
And that brings us to today's video, where I talk about one person who also does these kind of videos, manage the AI voices, who has more controversy than the others, and that is none other than YouTube's worst comment dubber, Cougar Macdowall VA. Now before we get into the tea, let me tell you about the content he puts online, what went downhill from the people he worked with, and why he became the most hated comment dubber of all time. And so out of the way, let's get into the topic at first hand. Cougar Macdowall VA, born 3rd of April 1999, is a Canadian-American YouTuber, voice actor, and dubber who joined YouTube in 24th of December 2013. Throughout most of his career, he is known for making comment dubs of fan comments of media such as Murder Drones, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Amazing Digital Circus, Poppy Playtime, Godzilla, and many more. He is also known for voicing characters from Friday Night Funkin' mods such as CJ from Starlight Mayhem, Big Brother, Zolazar from FNF Entity, and of course Tabby from vs Tabby Ex-Boyfriend. And don't worry, he will be very important once we get further into the video. In 2013, he would post voices of characters from My Little Pony, such as Spike the Dragon, and later on he would do the same thing with Warriors and other characters from other franchises. And 4 years later, in 2016, he will start dubbing fan comments of well-known media such as Steven Universe, Among Us, and most importantly, Godzilla. Keep that in mind that he's still doing the Godzilla comments to this day, well except the part where he puts softcore corn on every single thumbnail. And speaking of thumbnails, years later in 2022, as his content starts to change from the worst, he would post adult-themed videos in shorts, which causes old fans to be turned off. Similar to other comic dub channels, he uses NSFW thumbnails in his videos, and has very bland voice acting along with additional dialogue, which is not present in the original comic.
Lick, buddy. Vanilla. Come on, man, not like that.
Not to mention shorts of characters such as Pomni, Uzi, and the Smiling Chris's dressing in inappropriate clothing while dancing to trendy music. And do I need to mention that he also backstabs people that he worked with? Next, we're going to take a deep dive into Versus Tabby's development how and what was going on behind the scenes. Versus Tabby ex-boyfriend, or simply referred to as Versus X or Versus Tabby, is an FNF mod created by writer Homesky, and it's become popular among the FNF fandom for its design, difficulty, and being one of the first voice-acting mods. It focuses around the character of Tabby, the ex-boyfriend of GF, who seeks revenge against her and her father, Daddy Dearest, for betraying him. The mod suffered from development hell, as there was originally going to be a prequel week titled The Love Week, but the chapter was cancelled due to a lot of controversy surrounding Cougar, as explained in the Google document, which was written by the people who worked on the mod. According to the Google doc called #SaveTabby, Homesky gave the rights of the character to Cougar and asked him to finish the mod when he left the FNF community. Side note, not only Cougar was the VA, but the co-owner of the character alongside the creator from FNF Entity, and has even launched a makeshift plush campaign of Tabby that was available from September 12 to June 4, 2023, with 701 copies sold. Well that's a lot. But instead, Cougar hired a few directors such as Ascenti4 and left the work to them and continued with his own channel instead of contributing the mod he claimed he loved. In March 2024, Ascenti started to talk about how Cougar was being horrible to him and to a lot of people that he worked with during the mod. I will link the document in the description if you want to see the full story, but just to make it simple, Cougar hasn't been communicating with any of the directors or the dev team unless they requested him to since he became the main director of the mod, and Ascenti himself had to work day and night due to the lack of communication he had with him. Also, his friend who also worked on the mod noticed this and got a bit concerned because 75% of the people directing the mod were actually minors. They saw what Cougar got up to, and much to their shock and horror, he was making suggestive content targeted towards children, such as videos of the smiling critters, who are canonically children. Ascenti's friend made a deal with Cougar that he must prioritize directing the Tabby mod and turn down his thumbnails, but he didn't listen to his advice and just continue making more sus videos. Enraged, Ascenti and the others confronted him about this and asked him why he would make such content in the first place, and then he made his terrible excuse saying, "Oh, but they're grown adults now!" Which is the most idiotic excuse ever since the characters are still minors in the canon Puppy Playtime game, and you made them look like adults in every single thumbnail. Cougar wouldn't age restrict his videos, and argued to them that his channel is marketed towards an older audience, despite the fact they are still targeted towards younger kids. This heated argument led to all of the directors and the team quitting working on the mod, as they no longer wanted to associate with him ever again. And after the team left, Cougar hired a new director and told everyone that everything was resolved, which it wasn't entirely, and provided no evidence about what happened, being very well aware that everyone would leave if he told them. One of the directors even made an announcement calling him out, in which caused him to leak the message out of stress to everyone finding out. Back to Homesky. What he saw on Cougar's channel, he sexualized Tabby and other FNF characters, especially Nakusa. Homesky also stated that Tabby was based on his own troubled past as a child. He had enough and confronted Cougar on DMs that seeing you reduce my character to a victim of SA is upsetting, and that any girl that appears in a comment with Tabby ends up essaying him. This is not cool at all, and that is embarrassing. However, Cougar nonchalantly responded that the mod is cancelled and that he's already announced it on Twitter tomorrow, but Homesky tells him that he's taking back the character, but he refused. A month after regaining ownership, he later assembled a new team to completely reboot the original mod, and Tabby now has a new voice actor, Jonah VA, replacing Cougar entirely. He also decided to hand over the full ownership rights to LEGO, because he wants to focus on his personal life. One year ago, a YouTuber named Rekti came out with a post detailing on what happened to an upcoming video called Tabby with Lyrics, which would feature songs from the original mod. The video was originally scheduled to release in 2022, but it was delayed to 2023 due to most of the team working on the project getting sick. But instead, Xanta with Lyrics was released as 2022's final lyrical cover in the FNF with Lyrics series. The episode would later get delayed again after Rekti's Half Dried, which contained all of his music projects, got corrupted, which led the release to be pushed from February to May. He worked on the Tabby episode for 6 months, and as the episode was near the 80% completion, the project then hit a brick wall. He attempted to hire Cougar to respond as well as Tabby in the video, but he discovered that his content, and just like Homesky and the others, he was extremely uncomfortable with the channel's sexual nature and popular with kids IP. Recti also asked him to change his content for the better, and just like that, Cougar didn't listen to his words and removed him from the project and planned to hire a different voice actor from there once the trailer was out. But it was only after the ex-directors moved forward with their public call-out that he discovered how it went. After he heard about this, Recti chooses not to work with Cougar in the future, and the video is sadly cancelled as long as he continues to be the rights holder for the character. However, despite his statement, he will attempt to complete the video as it is only if the character is no longer associated with Cougar Macdowall himself. I already know why this man is the most hated YouTuber on the internet. Well, the answer is simple. It's because he's already become like other brainrot comment up channels and being very difficult to work with. When I first saw one of his videos for the first time when I was getting into FNF, I thought he was like other people who dub over fan comments just for entertainment. But now, when I look into one of his videos and such as dubs of Doodle Circus and stuff, I was simply turned off. Like, I don't want to watch his content anymore. I would highly advise kids on the internet to stay away from this kind of content and other channels that does the same thing, because they would use these type of views just to gain money and attention. And to the people who are still working for Cougar or blindly defending him, just don't support him anymore. Especially you, Josie Art. I'm looking at you. So, what do you guys think of Cougar Macdowall? Should he be banned from YouTube? I hope. If you do, let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.